For some reason, rest is something that people think that we have to earn, but it actually is something that we should use as a strategy. That's what we're talking about today. Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Leah T. Porter, the creative entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and all of those good things like that. And we are back for another episode. And listen, today is a good one. We are talking about rest and how it should not be something that you reward yourself with, but something that you actually use as a strategy. Resting for creatives, entrepreneurs, people that are always super busy on the go is sometimes taboo, right? We have this work culture that says that we have to grind it out, work real hard, which listen, all of that is the truth. You do have to put in the work. There cannot be this laziness to your work and how you move in your work. You have to, at some point, grind it out. But that is not something that you should do all the time. Rest is not something that you earn. It shouldn't be something that you do after you finish the big project or the big thing. And it shouldn't be something that's on your brain and that you're thinking about once you're already exhausted. So we have to think about how do we change our mindset about giving ourselves a break, right? Because I think sometimes when we hear or think of taking a break, that means stepping away from the things that are really important. But again, how do we use rest as a strategy, as a tool to make sure that whenever we do come back to the work, that we are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready to pour ourselves into it and continue to work hard and continue to grind. And listen, it's very easy to feel like you are not, I don't want to use the word worthy, but you're not, that you shouldn't take a break, right? And I think as women, we hold that a lot. Women have so many different roles that we play, right? Many of us are mothers, your wives, and then God forbid that you're actually a leader in your professional life where you are responsible for other people and making sure that other people are performing at a high level and doing a job and doing it well, so that way everything in, your team or in the business corporation is running smoothly. And so we have all of these different things as women that is pulling from us sometimes all at the same time. So the idea of taking a break or resting is like, when am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? When I have to take care of the kids, I have to wash the clothes, I have to cook the meal, I have to make sure, that I'm present for my spouse. I have to make sure that I am present for my work. I got to make sure that I put in the times and the hours to see things become successful. So it can become a lot, and you start to have this pressure of feeling like you have to perform at a high level. And everything that I'm explaining and talking about is an extension of you, but it's still taking care of other people, right? Taking care of your children is taking care of other people. Making sure that you're present for your spouse is thinking about somebody else. Making sure that you're leading your team or leading your company or your brand to success is being responsible for everybody else. But we have to stop at some point and think about, when are we going to make sure that we are also responsible for us? We are the only people that is truly responsible for us holistically. And that means giving ourselves the time, the space, and the energy to rest, to take a break, and to come back full and ready to give as much as we can give in our daily lives. One thing that I was introduced to that was a game changer and kind of switched my thought process around resting and taking a break, because I too am a grinder. I work really hard and I actually love working. And so I have to be very strategic and intentional about resting and taking breaks. But I was a part of a cohort a couple of years through South Arts, which is a regional company program, and they do all sorts of things. They give grants for artists, and they also do cohorts for emerging leaders of color to supply them with different resources to help them grow their organizations and programs. And I was chosen to be a part of one of their cohorts a couple of years ago, and one of my cohort members actually introduced the NAP ministry. Now, the NAP ministry since then has grown in their visibility, so a lot of you watching this video, you might know about the NAP ministry, but if you don't, they are the creators of Rest as Resistance framework. Rest is Resistance is really about making sure that you intentionalize rest in your life, and why it's important for us to make sure that we are pouring into ourselves in that way. But what caught my attention when I was first introduced to the NAP ministry was how they would curate these different events around the country surrounding naps and the power of naps, the power of a allowing your body to relax, allowing your sympathetic nervous system to go into not a fight or flight state, but like in a very calm state. And they will go to different cities and set up these nap moments where people can come and literally lay down and take a nap. And I thought that was super interesting and started digging and doing more research. And I really loved what they stood for, especially for women and Black women. Again, because us as women, we carry so much and we have so many roles in life that we have to play. And so being given the opportunity or being told it's okay to rest, it's okay to take a break. Sometimes we need other people to tell us that. And that's what nap ministry did for me. So much that I came back and kind of rearranged my life in a different way and started being strategic about how I incorporate rest. I do want to introduce you all to the Rest Deck. And this is not a sponsored video. I'm not sponsored by Nap Ministry, but hey, get at me if that's an opportunity. But the Rest Deck, it's 50 practices to resist grind culture. So it's cards, a deck of 50 cards that has a quote on the front, and then it goes into great detail on the back. And I am like an affirmations queen. If you follow me on Instagram, I am always posting my own affirmations on my story. And actually, if you go to leatporter.com, I actually have some of my free digital products, which is affirmation cards that you can get for yourself. But these cards are really great. And that ministry also have books. This card says, staring out the window and gazing at the sky or tree is rest. And I'm not going to read the whole back, but it says, in culture focused on hyper productivity, it can feel uncomfortable to sit and do nothing and let silence wash over you. And so these cards really give you a different perspective to think about rest and not just only taking naps, but finding little moments in your life to rest or to just calm your sympathetic nervous system in a way that is going to be ooey gooey and feel good to your body, your mind, and your spirit. So how can we use rest as a strategy and not just something that we earn over time once we're exhausted or once we get to the end of a product or a project? One, schedule your time to rest. The same thing that you schedule your meetings and you schedule your kids' soccer games and you write down what you're going to cook for dinner. Make sure that you're actually scheduling the time that you can rest. Listen, everybody's life is different. Everybody's life looks different. Everybody's day-to-day looks different. And so you have to figure out in your schedule where you can fit those little tiny times. And it doesn't have to be taking a nap for 2 hours in the middle of the day or 3 hours in the middle of the day. It can literally be taking 15 minutes to remove yourself from your desk, go into the window, gazing outside at that tree, and really having a moment, 15 minutes of nothing, of silence, or just a moment to yourself. And starting that small and then building up to larger amounts of time in your schedule when you're able to find time, it's enough. The idea is to get started, is to take that first step, take that first leap in making sure that you're including rest in your life. So an example for me is after I did the cohort with South Arts, I made it intentional to find time in my schedule to make sure that I was having time in my day where I can just kind of step away from the work, step away from everything, and have time to myself. And so I do a morning ritual every morning, which I have a video on that. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. It's really good. But from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., I have a morning ritual that I do every morning, and that does not change. From 9 a.m. to about 1 o'clock, that is a time where I am working on my businesses. If I have a project or we have an upcoming show and we have things that I need to get done and do, I am working on during that time. It's also the time where I schedule a lot of my meetings, my Zoom calls, my phone calls, in-person meetings. That is the time most of that is getting done. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is actually my rest time. So from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I am trying my best to stay away from work. I try not to schedule any meetings. I make sure that I spend time with my dog. I, walk Nori outside. I make sure that I'm able to maybe watch a TV show or something that I've been wanting to watch for a long time, or even reading, but trying to step away for 2 hours from my work. Oftentimes that is when I'm eating lunch as well, because I've been working the entire morning. And so I have 2 hours every day, Monday through Friday to make sure that I am resting. And then 5 p.m., I am back to work. I am at the conservatory and I'm operating and running all my other businesses from 5 p.m. to 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 p.m. And then I am a night owl. I tend to be able to go to sleep late and wake up early. And so oftentimes when I'm getting back from work at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, once I do my nighttime ritual, I'm grabbing my computer and doing a little bit more work. So that 2-hour block for me in the middle of the day really helps me to kind of bring myself down from a really heavy morning and then energize myself for the rest of the day and the rest of the evening. So again, find what works for you. For my creatives and entrepreneurs, find opportunities to delegate. Delegation is a way that I feel like you can allow yourself to have that break, right? If we're doing so many things and wearing so many hats, then it's going to be hard to find time in our schedule in order for us to rest. So delegating and utilizing technology is a really big way that you can delegate. There are AI assistants, there are AI agents that can do so many different things, like work on your behalf, send out emails on your behalf. Those little minute small things that may not seem like a big deal, right? In big projects, but that take up so much time in your schedule. So figure out ways that you can delegate your work so you can free up more time to be able to have breaks and give yourself time to rest, and utilize technology in that way. Figure out what tools, what AI assistants and AI agents you can use to work on your behalf so that way you can have free time. Next is try to protect your mornings and your evenings. Again, I mentioned that I do have a video on why it's important for you to have a morning and a nighttime ritual, but those are moments, especially if you're a parent. Now listen, I am not a parent. I do not have children. And so my giving of this next portion is not from experience, but just from an offering. But I think that if you are a parent, waking up before your kids wake up, if that is possible, is a way that you can sneak in 15, 20, 30 minutes, or even an hour to yourself. So be really intentional about protecting your morning and your evening. Try to find anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes a day in the morning and 10 to 20 minutes in the evening. You're not focusing on anyone else but yourself. And what does that look like? Is that skincare for you? You know, making sure that you go in the bathroom and you spend 10 minutes on your skincare, no matter if, you know, hubby is knocking on the door and looking for the butter, or the kids are trying to come in. You make sure that you let them know that those 10 minutes that you are working on your skincare is for you. And then also your morning times, and make it a ritual. That is why I absolutely love my morning ritual, and it's a non-negotiable for me because it really helps to start my day off amazing. Even though I don't have kids of my own, I work with a lot of people. I'm around a lot of people. I am in community with a lot of people because of the work that I do. And so my energy is always giving, right? And so my morning ritual is really oftentimes some of the only time where I really get to be by myself and with my own thoughts and really pour into me and not pouring into my community or into others or into my business. Even as a single woman without kids, I have to be intentional about that, right? And so protect your mornings, protect your evenings. So if you can implement just those 3 very simple ways of introducing rest to yourself, that is going to be game changer to you. Again, number 1, make sure that you are scheduling your rest time, even if it is 10 minutes a day in your schedule, or even if you have to start off with 10 minutes or 20 minutes a week, just start the motion of actually scheduling rest time. 2, make sure that you're delegating, whether you are delegating to a real life human being to free up your time, or you're delegating to AI, using AI assistants or AI agents that can work on your behalf to free up your time. And then 3, protect your mornings and protect your evenings. If anything, the first 10 to 20 minutes when you wake up and 10 to 20 minutes before you go to sleep at night, make those moments about you. Give yourself an opportunity to remove yourself from everything that's orbiting in your world. And listen, again, as the rest deck said, there's many different ways that you can rest. It is not just laying down and taking a nap. But guess what? If you can lay down and take a nap, please do, okay? I hope that this video inspired you to use rest, as the NAP ministry said, use rest as a way of resistance. Rest could be political, That's a conversation in our world right now. Rest could be for you. Rest could be radical. Rest could be strategic. Rest could be all of these different things that you want it to be, whatever you want it to be. But just make sure that you are being very intentional, my favorite word in the whole wide world, very intentional about including rest in your life. So that way you can freely give to your creative life, because that's what it's about. You want to show up rested. You want to show up empowered. So that way your creativity can continue to flow effortlessly. Thank you all for joining us for this episode. I hope to see you back. Bye.